Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, the show where we bring you important unstart questions asked by the members of the upper house and the response given by the respective ministries and departments. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Rajat Kain.
Well, thanks Kriti and thanks to our viewers for watching this edition of Question Hour. So let's begin the show.
And the first question in this edition is from member Saswant Patra, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Jal Shakti. And the member has asked the government about the current status of Mahanadi Tribunal and the progress made so far.
Well, giving a pointed reply to the query, the ministry said that central government has constituted Mahanadi Water Disputes Tribunal on 12th March 2018 for adjudication of water dispute regarding interstate river Mahanadi, and reference of the water dispute requested by Government of Odisha has been made by central government to tribunal in April 2018. Now, hearing before tribunal is going on, said the government.
In fact, member Saswant Patra joined us on the Question Hour show, and this is what he had to say on government's response to his query. Listen in. Sir, welcome to Rajya Sabha television. You asked a very pertinent question on Mahanadi Tribunal. What is the issue?
You see, the issue is it dates back to 2016 when we realized in Odisha that there were certain upstream barrages that were done illegally by Chhattisgarh over the river Mahanadi. Now, because of that, the flow of water is getting stopped, and during the summer months especially, it led to a severe crisis of not only agrarian crisis but also for the fishermen which were living on the banks of river Mahanadi. So thereafter, Honorable Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik ji approached the central government, the Ministry of Water Resources, and asked that there should be a proper hearing and this issue should be resolved, and Chhattisgarh should be asked to stop the illegal construction of such barrages, which is going to impact Odisha because a large portion, about 60% of Odisha is dependent on river Mahanadi, and about 16 districts of ours is dependent on river Mahanadi. Having said that, we proceeded thereafter with the central government, but didn't work out. Thereafter, Honorable Chief Minister Shri Naveen Patnaik ji filed a petition with the Supreme Court, and the Honorable Supreme Court thereafter directed that there should be a Mahanadi Tribunal. Now, this Mahanadi Tribunal that has been formed, it is formed for the last 2 years now. And over the last 2 years, there hasn't been substantial progress. Unless the tribunal gets working and it is able to actually ensure proper resolution and grievance handling of Odisha, then these illegal barrages that have been constructed in Chhattisgarh will not only today, but in the days to come have a major impact over the economy and the livelihood of crores of fishermen and farmers of Odisha. Having said that, we were hopeful, that is what my question was, that what is the present status of Mahanadi Tribunal? What is the central government's position on that? But I'm not very satisfied with the answer because the answer says that it has just been instituted. But the question is, how far has the tribunal gone? What has been the union government's stand? Is the union government really pursuing it and expediting it? That has not been heard. The same issue had taken up in a 0 hour also in the Rajya Sabha, and I had actually raised this issue, but despite that, the answer is not very satisfactory.
So what is it that you're demanding from the government?
We are demanding an expeditious processing of the Mahanadi Tribunal. We are demanding that since it's an interstate river water dispute and as per the provisions of the Act also, this tribunal has come into force, that this tribunal take it up very seriously, do it on a speed track basis and ensure that the resolution of two issues. One, that the illegal constructions are stopped, and second, that the Odisha gets its rightful share of Mahanadi, water. These are the two things that should be done. But even after 24 months, if this resolution is not coming about, it raises serious questions that whether actually Odisha will find justice and in all fairness whether this resolution will happen. So we are demanding an expeditious inquiry, an expeditious hearing and a speedy resolution to this.
All right, on that note, thank you so much for talking to us.
Well, moving on to the next question that was asked by member R. Vaithilingam from Ministry of Home Affairs. The member asked whether it's fact that ITBP personnel deployed will get special cold climate clothing.
The response given by the government is in affirmative, and the government goes on to say that the troops of ITBP or Indo-Tibetan Border Police deployed at an altitude of 11,000 feet and above have been authorized special clothing and mountaineering equipment on 10th of December 2009. Further, on 28th of May 2018, the government has also authorized special clothing and mountaineering equipment to the troops of ITBP deployed at an altitude of 9,000 feet and also 11,000 feet. As a result, 18.31% of the total posted strength of ITBP is eligible for special clothing and also mountaineering equipment. Moving on to the next question that has been asked by member N. Gokul Krishnan, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And the member has asked the government whether it will consider stringent legal measures to eliminate the practice, since the crime goes on stealthily despite Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act, by exploiting the poverty of the downtrodden.
In a detailed reply, the ministry said the Government of India stands committed to elimination of child labour in the country. The government has amended Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 and enacted Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act 2016, which came into force with effect from 1st September 2016. Now, the amended Act inter alia provides for complete prohibition of work or employment of children below 14 years of age in any occupation, and process and prohibition of adolescents in age group of 14 to 18 years in hazardous occupations and processes. The Amendment Act also provides for stricter punishment for employers of violation of the Act and has made the offence as cognizable. As per the provisions contained in the Act, whoever employs any child or permits any child to work in contravention of provisions shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, or with a fine which shall not be less than 20,000 rupee, but which may extend to 50,000 rupee, or both, provided that the parents or guardians of such children shall not be punished unless they permit such child or children for commercial purposes in contravention of the provisions of this said Act. Well, next question that was asked by Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda from Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The member asked whether any measures or plans are to be taken to incentivize investment by companies to increase production from oil fields already producing.
While giving a detailed response to the query posed by member Professor Rajiv Gowda, the government says that it has notified policy framework to promote and incentivize enhanced recovery methods for oil and gas, to provide fiscal incentives to adopt enhanced recovery, improve recovery and also unconventional hydrocarbon production methods. Under this policy, fiscal incentives are extended in the form of partial waiver of applicable cess or royalty on incremental production by the companies. The Government of India has approved exploration and licensing policy for enhancing domestic exploration and production of oil and gas in India. On 19th of February 2019, which includes production enhancement scheme for producing nomination fields with more functional freedom to national oil companies for collaboration and private sector participation as well. The government further says that domestic oil and gas producers paid a total amount of approximately 34,300 crore to the Government of India as cess, royalty and profit during the year 2018-19. In addition, the total amount of royalty paid to state governments during 2018-19 from oil and gas production is approximately 13,400 crore rupees. And moving on to the last question of this edition of the Question Hour show, which has been asked by member Vinay P. Sahasrabudhe, and this question pertains to the Ministry of Steel. And the member has asked the government whether any kind of new and innovative measures have been undertaken by the ministry in general or in particular of various departments of PSUs or autonomous bodies associated with it to improve work culture, bring in more transparency and accountability, and also to enhance result orientation during the last 5 years.
Replying in affirmative, the ministry said that Ministry of Steel implemented measures such as biometric attendance, e-office modules, procurement through GEM portal, Bhavishya pension sanction and tracking payment system. Now, CPSEs under Ministry of Steel have also been adopted various provisions and measures to improve transparency and accountability, which include following steps. MOA signed with Indian Iron and Steel Sectors Skills Council for implementation of recognizing prior learning in SAIL plants. Employees are covered under RPL programs. Now, e-procurement systems implemented by Steel Authority of India Limited. Revisions in procurement contract procedures for incorporating emerging changes in procurement processes across SAIL plants and units. Now, streamlining refund of earnest money deposits by SAIL. RINL implemented ERP SAP system in companies to bring more efficiency, transparency under different functions of the organization. RINL implemented enterprise bill tracking system where vendors, stakeholders can upload the bills and track the same, and payments can also be seen online. And lastly, E-auction or reverse e-auction introduced introduction in tendering and selling of certain products by RINL.
So Rajat, these were the important questions and answers in this edition of the Question Hour show. But on the other side, we'll have Prashnikal, the Hindi version of the Question Hour show with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh. Please don't go anywhere.